What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I released a video. It's been a little over a week now, and the reason being is because me and Rachel had just moved and we're trying to get settled into the house, so priority had to take over. It's just been kind of a jumble of things. But today I have probably one of my personal favorite cars of all time, one of my favorite cars of all time. This is the Audi RS5 Sportback, meaning this has 4 doors, hits 60 in about 3.6 to 3.8 seconds. All-wheel drive, twin turbo V6. This thing is beautiful. Everything about this car just screams performance, but it's also a sleek ride. So today, courtesy of Steve Rayman Chevrolet, we're going to take a look at this RS5, and I'm going to show you why this thing is just such a beautiful rocket of a car. And in the pre-owned world, this thing can actually be quite a steal. So why don't we go through this car and let's see what this thing's about. Really quick, guys, if you do like what you're seeing and you like the content, give this video a thumbs up, but don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell in the upper right hand corner. That way you can get an alert every time I release a video. As you guys know, I've done everything from a tiny Hyundai all the way to something as brash as an Audi RS5. So without further ado, let's get back to the video, because I really want to show you guys what this thing's about, because there's a lot of cool features about this car. Let's get to it. So starting off on the front of the car, I did want to show this angle. It's a little bit more front, head forward on this car, just because of a few things. One, I want you guys to notate that RS5 badge. It's very small, but it's actually, in my opinion, the perfect size badge. So that way, if you don't know what you're looking at, if you think it's just an A5 with an S line, you see that RS logo and you know this thing means business. Secondly, I want to make note of the Quattro badging. This car carries on the traditional Quattro powertrain that Audi is known for, but Quattro also has a lot of heritage in racing, especially rally racing and things like that. They brought a lot of that racing technology to these cars, and that's why these cars perform so well. I love that they give that little throwback to a heritage-based powertrain. Next, this black Audi emblem. This car has the black optics package, so you do get a lot of the black elements on this car. And on this gray paint, I think it just looks sick. So I think it looks amazing. Now, on the front of the car, you are going to have a few things to make note of. So the grille itself, it is open for about half of it, to be honest. So this top part is actually mesh. And then on top of that, you do have these inlets going through the side here and a little bit over here. So you're getting a few inlets for air to channel not only to the twin turbo V6, but also to get air to these brakes, so that way if you track this car, you can actually cool the car efficiently. Of course, same thing with, you know, the turbo engine. You got to get air to the intercoolers, etc. That way the car can make sure a lot of that air is cold and condensed. Now, headlight unit. This is Audi's LED headlight units. A lot of their newer cars are having cars switch over to a laser headlight, which is super cool. This one's really nice. You do have, of course, just your standard 2 projector beam bulbs, but then you do have also your LED turn signals, and they are fully adaptive LED headlights, which is really nice. The running light is also LED, and it is a white LED, but in the headlight unit you do have these silver accents, which look really nice. It just gives it that little essence of luxury, which I love. Now, you do have front parking sensors on this car, as rear as well, so just something that you'd expect on a full-fledged luxury vehicle. And then outside of that, everything else is completely mimicked up front, so on the other side, so everything's symmetrical. I will say, this bottom piece being painted gloss black, I'm a little surprised that they would have done gloss black on the bottom, but I guess with that black optics package with the black grille and everything like that, it just looks really clean. I definitely think it looks really clean. And let's talk about the grille size. So I don't think it's too big. I don't think it's too small. I think it's a little bit just right. I don't know if I agree with the shape necessarily, but over time it definitely grew on me, and I think it's a very handsome look now. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about this wheel set. So this is a 20-inch wheel from, of course, RS or Audi Sport, which is their high performance division. The wheel is just super aggressive. I love their futuristic design. I love that it's 20 inches on a car like this. Behind that, you do have 14.8-inch rotors, which are just massive. You got 13 inches in the rear, and then of course you have the huge brake calipers that you would obviously need on a car like this. This specific wheel is actually wrapped in a Hankook Ventus S1 Evo 2 tire. Pretty grippy. I probably would have liked to see a Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 or Sport Cup 4S's. I think that's what they're called. Essentially a Michelin tire, just because I know they're super grippy. Heck, some people talk about Federal tires being super grippy, especially for the money. But overall, I really like the design of the wheel. I love just the stance of the car. Just gives it a very nice finished look, and it also just makes it look super aggressive, super sporty. I like that the lug nuts have these black covers to go with that black optic package. It just blends everything in really well. Really quick, I do want to talk about the actual shape of the car, because this is a true fastback slash liftback. So Audi did introduce the Sportback model for the current generation A5 slash RS5 slash S5 series. So what that essentially means is they took the two-door version of the A4, which is the A5, then they gave it 2 more doors, but gave it a fastback look. So essentially you're getting an A4 with a fastback shape, which is really handsome. Jokes aside, they did add 2 doors. They gave this car a phenomenal body line, and it looks tremendous. It looks absolutely amazing, and I'm a huge fan of it. Let's talk about the back of the car. So for one, because this is a pre-facelifted model, you still get the LED tail lights and things of that nature. You're not going to have the little fancy dancing lights that the newer models have, but this car is still relevant. This is a 2019 year model, so just make note of that. Black optics package, you still get the black emblem in the back. Got a backup camera back here, RS5 logo, as you would expect, embellished back here. Not only that, you do have the rear parking sensors like I talked about up front. And then in addition to that, you do have this rear diffuser that houses these huge exhausts. Look at these things. They are gigantic. They do have black tips, which again looks phenomenal with the black optics package. But I just think this exhaust looks amazing. And it's kind of ironic. Every competitor's highest performance cars has a quad exhaust, but this one has just a dual exhaust, but yet the S5 gets a quad exhaust. I think that's very interesting that Audi did that. I'm kind of curious of why they did. We'll never know. Back to the car. So you do have reflectors that are built in right above the diffuser, just well placed. And then outside of that, you will have this spoiler here. It's kind of a duckbill spoiler. It's very small, but it's very tasteful. It's not overdone. I'm surprised, honestly, they haven't done an extreme version of the RS5, like say how BMW did an M4 CS. Like, that'd be insane. They put like a huge wing on this thing, like, oh my God. Anyways, super cool. And then, like I said, this thing is gonna be a liftback with a power tailgate. So you can see it does have this hatchback kind of shape, and it's really nice that you do have a power tailgate back here. Now let's actually see what's going on in the back of the Audi RS5. So stepping into the Audi RS5's trunk, so like I said, it is a true liftback. You get the power tailgate, but as you can see, you do have a small little cargo cover, and then outside of that, there's nothing really too interesting back here. I mean, you got the books back here, you've got these tie down points, you've got the floor mats, of course, and then of course, if you lift this up, spare tire, which is actually interesting to see in a car like this. Most cars in this price range don't have spare tires. Really nice to see Audi including that. But I will make note, look at those LED lights. Those look really cool. They're just little LED strips. I just think those are really cool. They look nice. Then you do have a storage net on the side there. So outside of that, pretty standard fare. And then you can just press that, closes right on up. And now we can head inside. So sitting in the Audi RS5 Sportback, the rear is tight. It's tight. My head, though it's got a little bit of room on top, it's just, you can feel that this is compact. I am an adult. I am 5'9", 5'10" on a good day. And I do have adequate room. I can be comfortable back here, but I don't know if I'd want to be comfortable back here. Granted, I did have the seat in the same spot, but again, I just don't know if I'd want to be comfortable back here for this long. But it's still a nice place to be. Let's check it out. So on the door card here, it's kind of interesting. You have carbon fiber weave. You've got this Alcantara, which looks beautiful. You have this leather with this contrast red stitching. Looks absolutely beautiful. Bang & Olufsen sound system. Though for some reason, you have this kind of plasticky material, which I'm surprised they went with. And then underneath, you do have some lighting there, but also, look at this. You have a lock button, but there's no unlock button. So interesting. On the seat backs, they are plastic. I'm kind of disappointed to see that. I wish they would have done either carbon fiber or just a nicer material overall. But the seats themselves are absolutely stunning. I love this red contrast stitching. I love the design. It's kind of a honeycomb pattern and just looks really good. Back here, of course, you do have your climate control settings that you can adjust. You do have your USB fast chargers and a 12-volt power outlet with your vents. Storage pockets on both seat backs, which is nice. But let's talk about the center armrest area. So you have the armrest here. You pull this up, you got this little felt area here. But look at these cup holders. You take it, you bring it out, and that's where the cup holder is. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty tiny, but that's where it's at. Absolutely insane that they did something like that, but it looks really cool. And then you can just push it back in, keep it flush. And then if you look up, there is an oversized sunroof, but it doesn't really stretch into the back seats, so kind of wish they would have done a panoramic sunroof. Would have done this car a lot of justice. So getting to the front of the Audi RS5, let's look here. So for one, on the door card, you've got your memory seats. You do have your lock and unlock switch, carbon fiber dressing the door card nicely, along with the Alcantara. You do have your mirror switches here, and of course your door locks and your windows. You do have your trunk release button there, which is really nice, or tailgate, whatever you guys would like to call it. Speaker grills, again, I wish they would have done something a little bit nicer. And then of course you got a storage pocket down here. Looking at the interior, you've got your headlight controls here. You do have standard wiper stalks. They're still plasticky, but it is what it is. Nothing too bad. You do have this beautiful leather steering wheel that is flat bottom, which is really nice. You do have these very aggressively bolstered seats for the front. You can see that honeycomb leather theme goes through here with that red stitching. Looks beautiful. Down here, they do have the soft touch plastic for the controls. I really wish they would have at least outlined it in some kind of metallic finish. They do have, of course, these controls here. So if you do want to get kind of a back massage in a way, you can actually do that. And then of course your lumbar support there, which is awesome. You do have sport pedals, including the dead pedal, which is really nice. Of course your hood release. And then the steering wheel is actually telescoping, not a power tilt. And then of course Audi's cockpit. And then of course your infotainment screen. But let's go through some of the other things there. Let's actually get inside of it. So I'm actually in the car, smart key system. I'm gonna press the start button. Oh yeah. Hear that engine come to life. Audi's virtual cockpit turns on. You've got the infotainment screen there that comes on. Frameless mirror, looks absolutely beautiful. Got the compass built in. Up here, you've got your map lighting. You've got your sunroof controls and a separate button just for the sunscreen itself, which is always nice. And then down here, you have a digital display for the climate controls and for the individual temperatures, which I do like. And look at that, you hear that? Oh, I love that. There's a clicking noise every time. You feel the resistance when you click the climate controls. That's really nice. I love the feel of that. It just gives us a high-end feel. You do have heated seats. I really wish this car had ventilated seats. Would have been really nice. And what is up with all of these blank switches? This car ranges from $80,000 to $100,000 new. I'm kind of curious of why there's so many blank switches. Maybe there's a lot of packages this car does not have. Who knows? But outside of that, you got your standard climate controls here. But it's cool because when you put your finger on it, look at that. Really cool. I actually really like that. You got your buttons for your parking sensors, of course. You see that shows up there. You got your front and rear parking sensors. You only have a backup camera. You don't have a bird's eye view. Kind of shocked there. Turn that off. This button here will actually turn off the screen. So if you don't want it distracting you, you don't have to. And then of course your drive select button. You switch this and then you can see individual, comfort, auto, and then dynamic, which is essentially their sport mode. And then everybody is curious about the Audi cockpit. So of course you got features on the actual steering wheel to adjust this. We're gonna hit the view button. Press that, look at that, switches to the navigation. You still got your tach on the left, your speedo on the right. Press it again, goes to speedo in the middle, or tachometer rather. Actually, technically both. And then of course you get your power and torque on the right hand side. Look what happens when I rev it. That's so cool. Got your navigation still on the left hand side, and then look on the right hand side at the bottom, you got a boost gauge. And then look at that, you got your gas, and then on the bottom area you do have your temperature gauges of all sorts, so it gives you a lot of feedback on what you need to see, which is really cool. Press the view back to that, bring it back to that. Of course you've got navigation, everything that your heart could imagine, Bluetooth, etc., etc. So outside of that, if you look down here, of course you've got this little infotainment screen knob here. So you can edit the car as you like. You can press menu, goes to this menu, and you have all these selections here. Navigation, map, Audi Connect, smartphone interface. You've got settings, of course. Hit map, and then of course you've got your map there. So you can always do whatever you need to, which is always nice. So you've got a lot of goodies to play with. Down here, of course, you do have your presets if you want. You can see, just like BMW, if you rest your finger on this, it'll actually show it up here, which is always nice as well. Glad to see other manufacturers using that. But one thing I will say that is weird is that the volume knob is right here. Why? I will never for the life of me understand why Audi does that. Down here, you do have your shift-by-wire transmission. Got the knob on the left-hand side of the shifter. With your foot on the brake, you can press that, bring it into drive. You can always bring it up to neutral, reverse, and then if you want to, just press P for park, puts it into park, and you're good to go. And then you have your electronic parking brake, and then you do have your RS badge here, which is really nice. One thing I do like, you got the Quattro badge there. It just looks really nice. It's really cool. They're really proud of their heritage, and it really shows, and I'm a big fan of that. Outside of that, look at the dash. It's a very clean dash, very simplistic, almost too simplistic for me, or too simple for people who are going to correct me on grammar. But you do have this really, really long strake of vents. But one thing I do like, the carbon fiber. It just goes everywhere in this interior. It's so awesome. Look at that. It's literally everywhere. Everywhere. It's so cool. I just think that's the coolest thing in the world. Super, super cool. Now, on the steering wheel itself, one thing I'm going to make note for you guys, it's kind of on the skinnier side, to be honest. You know, when you think of a performance car, you think of a meaty steering wheel. BMW is very well known for that. Mercedes is too. Audi didn't give it too thick of a steering wheel, but it feels really, really nice, I will say that. But the other thing is the paddle shifters. They're so tiny, and they're plastic. I'm so interested in why they did that. I'll never know for the life of me. Who knows? Anyways, let's get behind the wheel of this thing, and let's see what this thing is all about. Alright, so we're in the Audi RS5 Sportback. This one is technically a pre-owned model, but it's still relevant. Nothing too drastic has changed between this and the 2020 models, or even the 2021s, minus some, I know there's infotainment upgrades and things like that, I get it. But back to the juicy stuff. So this car is a potent machine, right? You have a twin turbo 2.9 liter V6 with 444 horsepower, 443 foot-pounds of torque sent to all four wheels via Audi's Quattro system. Now, that is all sent through an 8-speed automatic, from what I understand. Okay. And this car can hit 60 miles an hour in anywhere between 3.6 and 3.8 seconds. I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty fast. That's in line with pretty much all the competition. But just like every car, it all depends on what kind of emotion it invokes in you. For me, I've always loved the RS5. Even before Audi brought in the Sportback model, I always thought it was just such a handsome car. And now that they added 2 more doors to it, I fell in love with this thing. It's absolutely beautiful. I've died to get my hands on one of these, but it's so hard because a lot of these cars are not dealership stock. A lot of these cars are custom built for customers, you know, so it's just the reality of it. I love this transmission. It just feels so nice. So nice. I'm in dynamic mode, of course, naturally. But I will say, this car just feels so good. I will say the steering is a little bit light, but it's definitely direct. You know, it doesn't carry the weight that, say, a BMW would have, but it's still super direct, which is something that you want. Another thing is that I love the engine note, and that's something that's gonna cause a little stir because this car is known for having a much quieter engine note than the competition. Sometimes that's not the case. Holy cow. Oh my gosh, this thing hauls ass, guys. I'm just being honest, this thing hauls ass. I love the way this car sounds. It just sounds really good. It sounds exotic, which is what you want. You know, it really does. It reminds you of something much higher end from the Volkswagen group, whether it's a Lamborghini or Porsche. It sounds good. I love it. I love the subtlety of the exhaust note. What I also love is the fact that even though this is a liftback, it actually has decent visibility all the way around. You know, the mirror's big enough to where you can see whatever you need. You got blind spot detection, all that jazz. But even the rear window, it's not too small or anything. Oh man, I just love this car. It just feels so nice. I will say the seats are actually pretty comfortable. The sides are firm, but the bottom part is not. Okay, I can press that little massage function there. There we go. Get me a little massage action going on. A little massage action going on. It actually feels kind of good, to be honest. Getting a little spoiled. See, I'm so curious. How come they give this car, I don't know if it's a true massage function, but a massage function, but not ventilated seats? I'm kind of curious of why they did that. I don't know. It's just strange to me. Anyways, yeah, this car, the power is always ready for you. The transmission knows exactly where it wants to be at. You don't have to guess. If you want to downshift, whew, there it is. Again. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. And I personally love the size of this car. It is the perfect size car, in my opinion. It's not too big, not too small. You can carry kids in it. It's got grocery, you know, space. It's everything you need in a car. Oh, it just pops and gurgles. God bless America. God bless the Germans. Yeah. Holy cow. This is awesome. I love this car. I am so smitten by this car. I really am. Oh, and this virtual cockpit is just amazing. I love it. Oh, whoever thought it was a good idea to give a cockpit like this, you're a genius. Oh, The brakes feel pretty good. I can tell you really do have to warm these brakes up though, so this car is definitely a track car in that sense. Oh man, this V6 sounds incredible. I love this V6. A lot of competitors, you know, Mercedes has the twin turbo V8, BMW has a straight 6, you know, still twin turbo. This thing just sounds so good. I love it. It's not raspy. It just, oh, it sounds muscular. Oh my goodness. Oh, the pops and bangs with the exhaust from the factory. Oh my goodness. So insane. Whew. This car is, oh, I'm so happy I got to drive this thing. Wow, this thing puts a smile on your face because, for one, it instills confidence, where some other models that compete with this car, like the M3 and the C63 and even the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, those are rear-wheel drive cars. Granted, I believe the C63 might have the option of 4MATIC. Correct me if I'm wrong. My mind's blanking. But the basis is, with a rear-wheel drive car, you can kick the rear out and things like that. Like, yeah, it's fun, but holy cow, if you just want a grippy track car that just won't let you down, this is it, guys. This is it. Oh, it's so much fun. And I think this thing just looks so killer, and it's so subtle, the looks are. Oh, I'm so smitten by this thing. It's so nice. But nice cars aren't without their drawbacks, okay? For one, like I said, ventilated seats, I would want to see it. Especially if this car has massaging seats, it needs ventilated seats. Secondly, this infotainment screen, I think they fixed this for the 20 or 21 model year, but of course, I don't know why they never even put a touchscreen in this thing anyways. I really don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me. And then, outside of that, I think rear heated seats might have been really nice, but other than that, I would have wanted just a full panoramic sunroof. Outside of that, this car is perfectly fine with me. I am so happy with it. Oh, this thing is cool. So cool, just so powerful. I love this thing. Oh man. I'm curious of what you guys think, because I know there's some people here who are super big fans of Audi, some people who are super big fans of BMW. I'm gonna be honest, actually, really quick. I'm a BMW fan. I've always been a BMW fan. Rachel is a huge Audi fan. She will not live that brand down. What do you guys think? I want to know what you guys think of this thing. This thing is just, oh, such a monster. I love it. That's awesome. Again, a big shout out to Steve Rayman Chevrolet. This car is actually for sale. It is a 2019. This thing is on sale for, I think, like 70 grand, which is honestly a steal considering this car probably stickered close to 85 to 100 grand with options when it was new. So I will include the link to this car down below. On a random note, it's not really random, while I'm driving the car, I don't know if I really talked about the suspension in this thing, but it's not harsh. It's definitely planted to the ground, and it has almost no body roll, but it doesn't beat you up, which I think is so interesting / nice. I think it's a really special trait about this car. I love it. I'm it, guys. I think I've officially been converted to an Audi fan. Officially. You guys check it out. Thank you guys for watching this review. Again, if you liked what you watched, definitely like the video, subscribe to the channel. That way it shows support. And then of course hit that bell in the upper right hand corner. That way you never miss any of my videos. So until next time guys, I will see you. My name's Austin. Thanks for coming to my channel.